at El Porvenir, an iconic hacienda in Ecuador. Haciendas are family-owned properties, often ranches or farmland, and they have accommodation, and they can be one of the most interesting places to stay in Ecuador. They're not always working because having an agricultural property can be labor-intensive, time-intensive, very risky. But here at El Porvenir, it continues to be a working agricultural space. So they have 60 horses here. They also raise cattle for organic beef, leather, and they also use the horns and the hooves for handicrafts. And this spot is only 90 minutes from Quito and just 10 minutes from Cotopaxi volcano. And so it's one of the closest lodgings if you want to go to Cotopaxi. But honestly, this property here is so beautiful. El Porvenir dedicates 20% of its land to reforestation of native trees. Now, that may not seem like a really big deal to you. However, if you watch my previous videos, I've said a lot of the plants and trees in the landscapes in Ecuador are actually pine trees and eucalyptus trees that are not native here. So 100 years ago, the landscape of Ecuador looked very different. So we've just arrived at El Porvenir and it is raining outside, which is actually kind of a nice thing because it gives us an excuse to stay inside and be cozy. Checking in was very easy. They have a QR code, contactless. They bring you into the salon so you can do it, and then while you're waiting, they have fresh canelazo and empanaditas. Canelazo is a traditional drink from the Andes. It has naranjilla, a fruit from Ecuador, panela, which is an unprocessed sugar cane, and then also cinnamon. Recipes vary. Sometimes people might put star anise or clove into it, but those three things are the keys to a canelazo. And then also, optional, you can pour in some aguardiente, which is sugarcane alcohol. For this day, we wanted to keep it spicy, so we enjoyed the aguardiente as well. All right, so there's some water, some tea if we want it. A little bed for a third person. I love this little touch. Remember, be pulled by the vision of your future. Got some alcohol spray, so important. But look at this room. The bed is gigantic. It's anchored by two ponchos that we can wear while we're here. Amazing artwork that really looks like a volcano, even though it's not. This big sitting room space. There's a fire. The room was so warm when we came in. And this view. All right, and then the bathroom. I'm also very excited about because it has a bath. Oh, it's like everything you want a hacienda to be. It's just gorgeous. I love cooking classes, and so I was thrilled that one of the first things that we did was take a cooking class to learn how to make the canelazo and the empanadas that we had just eaten. I wanted something warm and cozy for lunch, and so I got the quinoa soup. Now, quinoa is an interesting ingredient in Ecuador because it is definitely a traditional ingredient, and people once ate a lot of it. However, it's fallen out of popularity. People don't really eat it as much anymore. In fact, I would say probably more Canadians and Americans eat quinoa than Ecuadorians. And the funny thing is, I think maybe 5 years ago they were saying that we were eating so much quinoa, there was none left for the people in Ecuador, but the truth is, they weren't even eating it in the first place. However, it is starting to kind of come back into trendier restaurants because it's absolutely a traditional ingredient, something that we should be eating. It's very healthy, and so I was so happy to see it on the menu. Now, so we have a quinoa soup, and then it is served with tostado. Tostado is just toasted corn. Again, another very typical ingredient. And of course, on every table, you've got some ají. This ají is very simple. It's just pepper, onion, cilantro. Not too spicy, but just spicy enough. It's very thick, almost like a, if you didn't know, you might even think this was like a cream of corn soup. It's hot and steamy on this cold and rainy day. It's like a tasty kind of porridge style. They've left some chunks of the quinoa in it, so it's not completely a puree. You still kind of get this like tasty texture to it. I don't know, can you see all of that? They served this piping hot. It is steaming. The simple dishes aren't easy to make because you don't have a lot to make the flavor. So everything you do has to be on point, and this is fantastic. What makes this place truly special is its commitment to sustainability. In fact, the entire strategy for this property is built around sustainability, not just the environment, but also the community. And so by being successful as this hacienda, they are actually showing their neighbors that you can have a commitment to cultural and natural conservation and also be successful financially. It's a win-win. So every day they have a horseback ride at 9:30 and 2:30 as a group, or you can also book a private one.
We're going to go inside the property, up through the slopes of the volcano to three big totems that are called the guardians. I'll tell you the story later on. And that's a fantastic viewpoint in clear days. You can see many of the peaks, and also it's an area where we will enter into the Páramo ecosystem itself. Páramos are a very unique ecosystem. It just exists in Ecuador, Colombia, a little bit in Venezuela, and there's a tiny little bit in Costa Rica. Okay?
If a year ago you had asked me if I wanted to go horseback riding in the rain, I would have thought you were crazy, but I absolutely loved this horseback ride. In fact, at one point they asked us if we wanted to turn around, and no one did. The views here were spectacular. But I have to say the funniest part was going back downhill. Everybody looked like they were just like bopping around on the horses. It's much easier to go up than down. here they have some changing rooms. They also have lockers so you can lock everything. There's a washroom, massages in here, and then there's a little waiting area. Here is the pool room. Jacuzzi, hot tub, polar plunge, and then up above they have this eucalyptus. It smells amazing. So last night we came in here at night. The steam room was on. Unfortunately it's not working today, but actually it's good because there was so much steam and it was dark out. In the video you couldn't see anything. So now you can actually see it, but normally also it's like you have these pools and then it's a steam room at the same time. And at night, it was fantastic. Couldn't see anything, but a really, really lovely experience. Almost like a steam room jacuzzi. I was so excited for dinner, and that's because this is an actual working hacienda. So this family has been raising cattle throughout generations, and they continue to do it today. The cattle here is 100% organic certified. They use the whole animal, so they use the beef for food, they use the skin for leather, they even use the hooves and the horns for handicrafts. Everything is used, and that gives absolute respect to the animal. And so we're here at the base of a volcano, and the most iconic thing that we could have is steak, of course, and it's served actually on a volcanic slate. It comes out cooked to your order, and it's steaming and it smells so good. Let me show you a piece of this. I like my steak rare. And this was cooked perfectly. Came out sizzling, smelling so good. I'm gonna try a piece of it. It just like melts in your mouth. It tastes so good. When you can eat great steak that's rare, it is truly a pleasure. This is so, so good. Beef as a whole in Ecuador is a little bit dicey. More often than not, it's not very good, but this is high quality steak. It's so good. I'm gonna put a little bit of this on it. It looks like we've got some marinated herbs. Chimichurri. This is so good. I don't eat steak often, and that's because when I eat it, I just want it to be this amazing experience, and that's what this is. This is one of the best meals I've had in Ecuador. Amazing steak, so good. Good morning. Had such an amazing sleep last night. When I got back to the room, there was actually a hot water bottle in the bed, had a little bit of a fire. It was so cozy, had an amazing sleep. Woke up this morning to horses outside our window. It was just really wonderful. So there's a base breakfast here that has yogurt, granola, fruit, also coffee, and then we've got this fantastic bread basket. And then along with that, eggs and bacon. You can choose what kind of eggs you have. And if you're someone that prefers like pancakes or waffles or something sweet for breakfast, they also have that. But that's not me.
Cotopaxi National Park was just a 10-minute ride, and if you don't want to hike, the entrance that's closest you can actually explore by car, so you can see lots. I actually never thought that since I'm not like a big hiker or climber, that Cotopaxi was something that I could see. But actually you can just drive through the bottom part of it, obviously, and the views are gorgeous. The park ranger, when we came in, gave us a tip, because Andres is a bird watcher, that there is a horse that has died close to the road, and so you can see condors because they are vultures. So here in this region, if a cow, for example, dies in El Porvenir, they will leave the carcass out because condors are endangered. The number is dwindling. And here in the park as well, you know, circle of life, they just allow nature to take its course. This is Rumiñahui, so the park is actually between two volcanoes, this one and Cotopaxi.